You love it? Yeah.
He was my manager.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Second time I heard his name this week. I haven't heard his name in years.
I think it's a sign.
That's so funny. Is he still into guitars?
He is so into guitars.
He makes guitars, right?
He makes them, and he has so many that they moved. They moved, and so he had to like put a bunch in storage.
Let's go over here for a minute.
Yeah, the blue is very.
Yeah, not only that, it's these are more cushiony seats.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go that far.
Those are what I was hoping.
Yeah, when I was with him probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Just for a minute.
Okay. He's a good
here, before I invest in this, just imagine Kim Whitley in this part.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just imagine you put her in there. Can you do the imagination thing there in networks? Can you try that?
Yeah. Ooh, look at the underneath it on the shirt. She could. Yeah, I mean she's got 65,000 followers
Oh yeah.
on Insta, so she probably has more on some other platform.
Not today, but Friday night and Sunday afternoon.
Or a special ed for someone.
You said front and center.
On the left. I think the speakers need to sit on the chair. You guys can sit in the chair. Yeah, we'll start. And then.
It looks lovely up there.
Oh.
Any order?
Whatever you want.
You're probably gonna go here, Kiki?
Yeah, so that way. It's that way.
Or you're gonna
No,
go?
you don't sit there.
What's that?
That's me and Mike is over there.
Anywhere but there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can sit in there.
Yeah, unless you're hot. Oh, there's a
I was thinking about the same thing.
Because the blue on the beard might not go.
Oh,
What's up, people?
Hello.
we're at a funeral.
Just awkward silence.
Okay, it's just like another Asian family gathering.
Is that how they go?
No, there's a lot more,
It's just tension.
insults too.
It's just tension.
Really?
Trying to break the tension. Eat, 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 eat.
Yeah.
It's like one moment of like, yeah, excitement, then we're just
Yeah. Followed shortly by, oh my god, you gained weight. Yeah. Why are you so fat now?
That depends which Asian.
Are you having kids? Yeah.
Japanese not that way.
no.
Well, I see.
No?
Whatever.
Straight. There's no, she does not get, still does not get joking. Of course, we don't get
If she's got it.
teasing jokes.
Oh, okay.
Just
Irony.
One of us had to say one line.
Just bust them your balls. That's what we do in Florida.
Here.
It's a safe space, let it out, guys.
Punchline. About a month ago.
Did you really?
You know, that everyone knocked.
You know, I've never been. No.
Yeah, audio.
I mean, I work helium theaters.
Yeah.
I just did, as a matter of fact. I just worked at theater.
Mike, you can come out now.
See it hiding.
Backstage.
Your support makes this show possible. Please support the Playhouse and keep our doors open.
Yeah, we should.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the internationally acclaimed Santa Monica Playhouse. Before the show begins, a brief reminder.
No eating inside the auditorium. However, drinks with lids may be brought.
How's that? Look at that. See? Look at
The
that.
operation of
Yeah,
the
you guys can
Oh,
share.
here, we'll go there. Look at that.
Please
Oh, we could just have it here,
That's what happens when you sit
right?
next to
Then
a
we don't, I don't
professional.
know.
He shares the mic and the stage.
I'm giving you them. I have enough stage. You have it. Yeah.
Fucking song.
You can see what it's like.
Yeah, all of you are crazy. Woohoo! All the crazy ovation. Yay! Woohoo!
I don't know that I fit in there.
Fine.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
There's a feedback.
Vanilla Ice gonna pop out?
Which one is it? We're like,
This one's way more intimidating. There's a lot of feedback.
Hello, welcome to the Crazy Woke Asians Kung Pao Festival. Woo! Look at our beautiful industry panel. Ooh, very sexy and Asian. My name's Kiki. I'm the founder of Crazy Woke Asian. I'll be moderating this with my co-host.
Mike Kim.
Woo! Mike is a TikTok star, and you've seen him on Adult Swim. I just have to say that. Yes, and let me introduce our panel of speakers. First of all, this very Asian one right here. His name is Craig Shoemaker. Woo! Give it up for Craig. If you don't know him already,
I'm married to an Asian.
that counts, okay? Association by
Hoppa
proximity.
kids. I got Hoppa kids.
You got
I got Hoppa kids.
he's
So I'm blending here.
you're
Yeah.
totally blending. We're so honored to have
I
you
got the
here.
crazy part down.
You
Yeah,
woke.
and I'm a semi woke. Yeah.
I'm gonna like flaunt your credits. Okay, he's been on Comedy Central, Showtime. He also produced, wrote, and starred in The Love Master. You could tell us more about that later. He's named the funniest male stand-up comic at the American Comedy Awards on ABC, and he has 2 Emmy awards. Oh my goodness. He's like, yeah, whatever.
And here I am.
Here he is. We're so honored to have you. Okay, our next.
The panel outnumbers the audience.
And we have people on the live stream, so thank you for watching YouTube and Facebook. If you have questions, later we'll do a Q&A, so you guys can think of questions the burning questions you want to ask these speakers. Okay, the next guest we have is Christina Montojo. Is that how you? Ooh, I said it right. She's a comedy coordinator at Authentic Talent and literary management. Literally, she is. They have a Culver City office. Before that, she started her career at Innovative Artists. So she knows a lot about comedy. She's gonna share what she's looking for when she sees a funny person, because not just any funny person can sign with her. Yes, no, yes. So very exciting, huh? And the Authentic manages what's the famous Marvel star you guys manage? You guys could use the mic. Yeah, I want to make sure it picks up, because we're doing audio recording too.
Oh, wonderful.
2 mics. Tell us the Marvel
This
star.
feels like a Friday night. Okay, sweet.
Who's the comedian?
Let me tell you. So we have 2. We have Shimi Lu, and then we
Woohoo.
have Brie Larson.
Woohoo! 2 of them, you guys. Okay, get in line. Try
Get
to
in
get
line, get in
represented.
line, yeah.
All right, Mike's gonna introduce the next 2 guests.
All right, and then we got second from the left, Stephen Ho. He's a former ER technician and a stand-up comedian. And then he has a weekly show at the Hollywood Comedy, which is great. He gets a lot of people to go.
It's 10 million. You tell people that it's so impressive.
No, 11 million. He's got 11 million followers all across the social medias, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everything, right? Not easy to do, not easy to do.
Woo! And just share how he did it, right? That's why we want you here.
That's the only reason why. And then next to him, we have Mr. Jason Rogers. Give it up to Jason. He's a creator of the American Me Comedy Tour. And he's just always has like a funny ass lineup of comedians, and he's been on Comedy Central, HBO, Showtime, Netflix, Amazon, The Late Show, The Tonight Show, Conan, The Late Late Show, Saturday Night Live, and the list goes on and on and on and on.
He's a Marvel superhero.
He's amazing, yeah.
And he's gonna share about.
Huh? The comics you had on were on there, yeah, but you're still associated with that because.
I want to, Emmys.
Oh, you want to? hyphen want.
You can borrow mine.
His show, ouch. His show, he just smacked me with the mic. It's okay, I forgive you, Mike. He has a show called American Me. They tour all over. I was just on the show Funny Bone with Jason in New York. I mean, sold out on a Wednesday night. I mean, he's gonna tell you if you want to become a producer, the tricks and trade and how to, be like that and make lots of money. All right. Okay. So, how do you want to do this, guys? You just want to share?
I think
you have
Season. Just the season.
the
guy.
season, the OG man.
OG, I don't like
Ooh,
seasons.
Manny's here.
Manny's here.
Manny.
Manny's gonna be our added speaker.
I'm just watching.
You will. We love to have you speak too. Would you like to speak too? We'll get you a chair. We'll get you a chair and you can come on. George, can we get one more chair?
So, I'm just here to enjoy them.
He's been on iHeartMedia and VH1 and what else, Netflix. He's hosting the final showdown. So we're doing this every night. The audience vote. Are you hot? You're sweating. The audience vote for the funniest comedian, and then each show they move on to the final showdown. And Craig will be one of the judges.
Yes, indeed.
We had Naila Durrani from casting producer for America's Got Talent and The Gong Show and a bunch of shows she's casting, but she's not feeling well today, so she's keeping it safe. She'll be here Sunday. We got Manny. Manny, you ready to come up too? George is gonna get you a chair. But we can start the panel. I think Craig is ready with the mic.
What do you want me to do?
Mike.
Well, the first thing, first of all, I want to say you do have the Asian card, so
I
you're
do.
officially an Asian.
Actually, this is a true story. I was dressed as a geisha girl when I was a little child. Honestly, my mom came up with this idea. I'm not exaggerating. Do you remember those legs pantyhose? Anybody know what those are? There's these plastic eggs that the pantyhose came in. She got those, and she took an X-Acto knife and she made 4 half-moon slits and put them in my eyes. And she glued them in my eyes so I could be a geisha girl. My friends are ghosts in sheets, and I'm running house to house. I got chopsticks on my head and clogs. Wait up! And that's how I became a comedian because
An Asian
that's
woman.
not why I married.
Your mom manifested that.
My mom did manifest that. Well,
yeah.
I actually was always fascinated. I did a report in 5th grade on Japan, and so I have always been fascinated. But the geisha girl thing, there was a lot of wounds. My mom dressed me as a girl every year for Halloween. I was a hooker. I was a go-go girl. I was a cowgirl. I'm not kidding you.
Are you serious?
Only 1 year I was not a girl. My mom dressed me. She bought a gallon of green food dye, stripped me of my underwear, dyed my entire body green so I could be the Jolly Green Giant. And there was so much left over. My sister's the little green sprout. We had togas. I do this at every door. Ho, ho, ho. And my sister would go, Green Giant. And that's how I became a comedian. That's yeah.
We're talking about
it comes from pain.
Yeah, we're talking about the guy that's on the can of vegetables, right?
That's right.
So not even the Hulk. You got downgraded to
No, I got
Vegetable Man.
I was downgraded from the start. My dad left when I was born. Something I said, wah, he was gone. But anyway.
Yeah, that's one word too many.
Yeah. So this is, that's how I grew up. That's how I became a comedian. I deal with the pain. We used to get evicted all the time when I was a kid. We're very poor. I had no dad. I still have abandonment issues. I can't take it when a waiter leaves my table and go, where are you going? I'm getting your food, sir. Oh, sure you are. He's not coming back. You're all the same. But it's that's exactly how. And I was very tiny. I was 5'1", 92 pounds in high school. And
What?
Yeah, I know.
What happened? Did you drink a lot of milk?
I became the Jolly Green Giant. But yeah, I ended up growing, but I was very tiny growing up, and I was like a wedgie waiting to happen. Do they have wedgies anymore? They don't even do those. They pull your underwear up by your crack. Yeah, they would hang me by a locker. Look, yeah, they cancel.
Oh,
I love that they cancel bullying. I think that's a smart idea.
Now it's cancel everybody.
Yeah, words hurt more.
Yeah.
Are there anything anything you want to share for the comedians out there in the live stream? Like, what are some golden nuggets you can drop tonight? Like, people want to be like you, get Emmy Awards, be on Comedy Central, you know, have a whole coaching program.
Yeah, I'd say the most important. I do coach comedians too. I mentor comedians. You know, it started with me. Dave Chappelle when he was 14. Judd Apatow. I still have the tapes. He used to kiss my ass and say, "Can I go with you to San Bernardino?" He make these mixtapes. You don't know what mixtapes are, do you? I've OG's got a lot of references here. I got a lot of old references. And who else? Whitney Cummings used to tour with me, and yeah, so I've done a lot of mentoring through the years, and but the most important thing is to be you. I always say it's way more important than the jokes, because every situation you're in, you are responding, not your jokes. Like I've been on, Howard Stern, and then another radio show where they're pressing, sound effects the whole time. So you have to be able to respond. Morning radio shows, morning television shows. You have to have you respond however you would, not how your jokes do. So that's more important than anything, is getting to know who you are. So I encourage like journaling, and the journal doesn't have to have that. The jokes will happen because you learn your sense of self, and therefore you learn your sense of humor. And humor is really about truth. It's the biggest thing that I can ever tell anyone. It's truth exaggerated, but it's still it's got to be organic and authentic. I think that's because that makes you sustain a career. I've been decades in this since high school. I've been doing it since high school. Ava Tamini's backyard. I did it for beer, and then this is and then I kept going, and I'm still doing it. Still doing stand up. But that's the most important thing. And I had a big shift in my career. I was actually really on a roll. I used to do a lot of impressions, and impressions are something that goes over really well with people. So you become a headliner faster, but I went too fast because I didn't know who I was yet. So I used to say to my manager, I go, "How come I don't have a sitcom?" And he says, "Because you don't have a point of view." I said, "What are you talking about?" And this is back in the 90s when everybody had a sitcom. Jerry Seinfeld had a sitcom, Drew Carey had a sitcom, Ellen DeGeneres. I was everybody had one except for me. I was very upset about it. And he goes, "Get a point of view." I said, "Seinfeld doesn't have a point of view." It doesn't matter. He says, "It doesn't matter. You have to have one." And that was the moment I said, you know what? If you have your own point of view, if you're honestly who you are, you can't be accused of being a thief or a hack. You can't be accused of anything because it's you. I mean, nobody else can say they were a geisha girl or they'd be stealing that shit,
Jolly Green
or
Giant.
the Jolly Green Giant,
Yeah.
or that their grandmother smoked and grows pot, or their father is a cult leader running mule rides in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Nobody else can say this shit. It's uniquely me, but everybody else has their own story.
Yeah, so the point of view thing is very interesting because that can confuse a lot of people, right? And it makes sometimes they think, my point of view is I am this Korean American who's 32, blah blah. But it seems like that's not really the case so much. It's not like the category of who you are. It's just the full on truth of just you at the deepest soul. That's what the POV is.
Correct. It's not the ethnic background. I used to go down that road as well. Matter of fact, I just found out through 23, I'm 14% African. I'm from Ghana. I'm black. Not a lot of my people here tonight. I feel.
Pass the mic. Okay, I'm gonna have you take that mic. I'm gonna take this mic, so me and him can, make it easier, and then we can pass the mic whoever.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like those are standard jokes. We all heard them. I am this and it means this, and it's fine. But you really got to be specific of who you are, like what your feelings are, your relationships are, how you have those relationships, who you are in those relationships, who you are as a person. And those admissions of those truths, people identify with it. That's the only thing they're doing when they're laughing. They're going, "I felt that. I never want to feel that again." All of that is that empathic response. That energy is what you're really forming that, and you are in charge of that. And that's what I tell people all the time, and I do it myself. Is like, I'll write stuff that has nothing to do with comedy. I have a show on Amazon Prime right now. It's a business show because I believe as creators we are infinite in our creation. So I know something about business. I've made a lot of money in my life, and I've produced shows. So why can I not produce a show like that? So we are unlimited. That's the one thing I would also tell people. You are absolutely, there is no limit to your potential. The word potential has potency to it. We have a potency inside every single one of us. Like who else? nobody is trained to be a comedian. Think about it. There's no, like, there's athletes, you know, you see athletes have kids that play the sport, right? And they say, oh, he's good because he's got, what do we have? You know, am I going to learn from my dad, the cult leader, running mule rides? I mean, I'm not going to learn from that, but I will learn that relationship, how unique that is, and you know, foster that, and have an unlimited potential that you can just keep mining into, and it can manifest itself in any way. I've written children's books. I wrote a novel. I wrote scripts. You know, I produced movies. Nothing will stop me. Nothing will stop me. And that's what I would encourage anyone. Don't keep yourself in a box of what your ethnic background is or what you want to do as a comedian. There's all sorts of different roads as a comedian. You know, and as a matter of fact, a lot of the roads, sometimes they lead to where you don't think they will. I thought when I was named Comedian of the Year American Comedy Awards, and I really, the former winners were like Jerry Seinfeld and Ellen DeGeneres and Jeff Foxworthy. I thought, oh, I'm going to win, and I'll have a show about a sitcom about a gay redneck and a show about nothing. But I thought, if I get that award, I will have everything. I won that. It was on ABC. Lily Tomlin and Roseanne Barr announced my name. It was the loneliest night of my life. It sounds really strange, but I had everything. I was on top, and that was our Oscars, you know, at that time. And that was our Oscars, and I've never been so lonely in my life. I had my trophy in the back of the limousine they gave me. I'm going, where do I go right now? I walked into the Comedy Store, and comedians, they'll take you down. You know what I mean? Like, they were jealous, and I'm walking in with my trophy, and I look like a jackass, you know, carrying this trophy around. So here I felt lonely, I felt rejected on the night that I'm supposed to feel the best about myself. So that's why I say if you get to know you, it doesn't matter what situation you're ever in. You can handle every single situation. And now if I could do that over again, I would do that over again in a different way.
What would you do?
I wouldn't go to a comedy club with my friends.
What? No, what would you do? Throw in the garbage. No.
Well, and by the way, trophies and things like that. I was on the cover of New York Times, 10 photographs. You know, it looks sepia. It looks like it's from the Civil War right now. These are all, it just goes to show you, everything is all relative. And to tell you the truth, I have all these trophies. My most prized trophy is the horse's ass trophy I won at my ex-wife's family reunion. That's my most prized trophy, this horse's ass. And because I earned that.
You have to show us that.
I earned that more than any other trophy, and it's all relative anyway. You know, next year's Oscar winner, they're trying to get past the velvet rope, and 2 years after that, they're going, "Who are you?"
So you're pretty much saying don't compare yourself to other comedians. Just stay in your lane, stay focused, and don't be like, "I suck, I bomb. They're so great. I'm not right." Like the mental talk.
Do not do that whole thing. I killed.
Yes.
I killed.
I murdered.
Yeah, they'll make fun of you for that too. Comics don't like that. You know, there's a lot of jealousy in the business, and that's another thing.
How you deal with it?
I stay in my own space. You know, you said lane, but I call it a space. I create my own space of people that I love, that I resonate with. I produce. When I produce something, I call in all the people that I haven't seen in years, but there's a resonance that they have about them. There's a truth that they have about them. There's a love that they have about them. And if I can connect with that, it's really about that kind of connection. You know, get to know one another as people, as humans, as, you know, not just looking for jokes all the time. Those will happen. Those are bound to be a result of your hard work, of what you're doing. And if you have a natural instinct, you develop that instinct with that truth, you will be brilliant as whatever you do, let alone a stand-up comedian. And I'm doing it at the highest level right now. I'm still back on the road, and I do it at a high level. I get standing ovations and stuff like that. But it's in the moment. You stay in the moment. It's that I don't have to go, I got a standing ovation, because nobody gives a shit. You know, after the show's over, nobody cares.
Yeah.
No, it's on to the next. So if you're in the presence, if you're in the moment, that's what's most important, and you're getting to know you. And so those awards and the big accolades and stuff like that, it's not what it's cut out to be. What is, you know, listen, I'm having a good time just talking to you right now. You know what I mean? In the
Thank
moment.
you for being here.
So it doesn't have to be, you know, I made fun, but it doesn't have to be a packed audience or whatever it is, or some accolades. It's just in the moment. If you can have a good time and create with one another and connect, you can have, like we were talking before, and we had a nice connection. You never know, we might be working together. I took her number. Not I gotta watch this shit. You do it. Make it fun, have a good time, and create what's ever in front of you. You know, a creator is creative. You know, the creator inside of all of us is always there. So I always tell people I coach now. I do a lot of coaching. And what I do is I coach them into how to tap into that presence, into that mindfulness. I know it might sound like crazy or, you know, it is a lot of Zen. You people are about Zen.
Yeah, we people are about Zen.
we about that
I'm
life.
meditating right now, sitting here.
That's what we about.
I was leaning into the you people. That was a joke.
I love it.
Yeah, but
okay.
so it seems that so would you say these opportunities came for you the more you got to understand you, and the more you peeled away that layer of falseness and that performative like caricature of who you thought you were? Is that true or?
Yeah, I mean, I just started to lean into the fun of I do a character, the Love Master. I lean into the fun of the Love Master and what he is. And, you know, there's people that don't like the character, and I just laugh at them because they don't get it. You know, I have much more of a perspective on it because I step back, and I'm okay with it. You know, I'm okay with the criticism because that's them. They're projecting a lot of their stuff. The more I get to know myself, the more work I do, I really get it now. When people are attacking you or whatever it is, it's just that their own self-esteem is suffering, and they're suffering, really. So I keep working on the stuff off stage, like the stuff to make me a better human being than I do being a stand-up, which makes me a better stand-up. Now, here's the other thing is the relationships that I have that I've fostered through the years. When I'm producing a movie or a television show, bam, 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 it's that easy. And they'll take a call if I haven't talked to them in 5 years. Hey man, I love you. How you been? Bam, and now we're working together because we have a mutual respect. I cast 100 actors in a film, and probably 25 are comedians that you all would know. I mean, and I loved it. There they were. I just lined them up. Come on in, you know. I wrote parts for people
That's
because
great.
I love giving back. That's why I'm here today.
Yes.
Frankly, I just left my kids at Universal.
I know, you told me
I was
this
at Universal,
7 in the morning.
and I said I'm going to get 4 rides in. I did. I got a fast pass so I could get over here and be of service to people, and hopefully the people can just listen to one little kernel, and it can inspire into a different direction that maybe they weren't going to go in before.
Oh, that's so well said. Thank you, Craig.
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna pass it down, and then at the end we can ask more questions, and you guys can
pass the
also
joint. This
jump
is
in.
awesome.
You can jump in whenever. Okay, Christina. Mike, you got something you wanna burning things you wanna ask about representation or how to present yourself? What do you want to talk about, Christina?
Craig, I don't know.
Craig, you want to talk about Craig?
No, anything you guys want. I don't care. I'm open book. So.
Okay, so what is something that stands out to you the most that you look for in like talent that matters the most to you?
Just for context, I cover on camera, lit, directors, digital, unscripted, stand up. So whatever comedy touches, which is everything, that's what I cover. And so that question is pretty broad across the board, but what it comes down to is like a connection that I have creatively. So if it's on camera, it's what you're saying. So it talks about it goes back to what you're saying is, what are you saying in your tapes? What is it saying in your performances, in your writing, in your directing, or your stand-up, right? Do you have something to say? And for the most part, it's that granular stuff that I really love. You know what I mean? The fun, undervalued voice that you don't think is unique or not. It's unique to me because I've never heard it before. So most of the time when I meet with people, it's when you start talking about their upbringing, which is different for you, and it seems so like, oh, that's just how you are. And I'm like, wait, calm down. What was that thing you just said? That's interesting. You know what I mean? Everything you said is just very fun and interesting. It's different from my upbringing. So when you talk about that in subtleties, in how you execute it, those little things, I love that. Like the creative part is what I enjoy, and seeing potential. My whole thing is I love working with development in so many different levels. And so whether that means, oh, I see a moment in you, in your tape, or on your stand-up, I'm like, oh, can we dig deeper? How do we get you to where you want to be? And sometimes it's just a glimpse for me, and I go, hey, how do we expand that on a consistent level and get you where you want to go? Because for me, it's not just now, it's down the line. And some people just want the now, which is fine. Like that's how people want to do business. I want to be there for the long term, you know what I mean? So I manage in the long term, creating those conversations, those connections. That's why I'm not an agent, because I'm just not soulless, but like, You guys laugh because you have them. So no, there's some good agents out there, but like
One.
there's only one apparently, and she's great. Oh, sure, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much me. Like it really is depending on how I feel after I read something. It's really hard nowadays to read a script that's not shitty, but also you take something away from it,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes there's like 2 moments and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't felt something from reading something, you know what I mean, in a long time. Because I read 7 scripts a day,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah,
Wow.
honestly.
Fast reader.
Yeah, and so when you come across something that's not bad, you get excited.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what can we do with this? And then how can we make that better? And your mind just goes creatively, and you ask the questions, why?
Yeah.
And then you have that conversation. You're like, oh, okay, how do we expand on that? How do we do that? So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, but for like stand
I
up,
answered it. Yeah.
let's say for stand up, like for one client, how would you? What's an example how you distill the process of? I saw this moment in your set. How can we make it consistently? You're at that level to grow your career.
For stand up, it kind of talks to what you're saying too. Is those moments. So it could either be your presence on stage, where I'm like, oh, I love your presence. Are you saying something though? You know what I mean? For the most part, if you're not saying anything and you're just like getting laughs, that's great. That's performative, and I can enjoy that evening. But if you're not actually saying something in your sets, then it probably won't have something to do, right? There's another side to management and representation is, what can I do for you as well, right? If I see someone and I don't know what I can do for them, then I don't actually want to insert myself, because I always want to play a role that's beneficial to someone's success versus just tagging along, or just sometimes people just sign to hold them so someone else doesn't get them. And we've all been there, and so I see it. I have friends that do it too, and I'm just like, cool, I guess, whatever. You have like 100 people on your roster, but it's just about what can I do to bring value. And when I see moments of like, okay, your childhood or experience, how do we expand on that and just like bridge those things together? And it is just kind of like a muscle. You keep doing it. You know, you guys have your sets and then you see what works. How do we bridge these things that make sense together? You know what I mean? So it's a hard thing. It takes like 5-7 years for a comedian to break, honestly. So it's that patience. That's why I'm like, it takes the long run.
Yeah.
So
Whoever wins the final showdown will get a one-on-one general meeting with Christina. So you guys get on it. Woohoo!
I'm sorry.
So there's a thing so far from everything we talked about, even with Craig, is the POV, the honesty, the not like just trying to get just a laugh, right? Because you can crush and be forgettable, but sometimes you don't crush. But then they come up to you and they'll say, "That really, I went through that." Something like that, right? The emotional connection that matters even more than just the laugh, right? In a way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's also in content, right? Like when I watch a film, I love films and TV. It's just like, what do you pull away from that, right? And it is those things that you connect with. Sometimes you're watching, like we'll all watch the same thing and I'll laugh at something that no one else laughs at. And it's like, okay, well, I'll just email the director and say that one thing made me laugh. But other than that, it's just like the same thing with stand-up. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do have that moment and people are like, okay, is that the thing that I expand on? Or do I just keep going with the ones that hit? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's exploratory for everybody. So.
Okay. And something that I feel like Craig could touch on this too is, I feel like as stand-ups we think that we have to go this extraordinary, this far out direction to stand out, but then sometimes it's the thing that, and you kind of said it too, where it's the thing that's normal to us, like the gay shit, like that was normal, but when we hear that, it's hilarious and it's funny, but that's what you really went through.
Yeah.
Until somebody's like, hey, that right there, that's fucked up. but funny. It's great, you know? Yeah, so.
People relate to pain, you know? That's something a lot of us share. Everyone does, actually. Everyone has pain. So A lot of comedians, we are, curtain pullers, and a lot of times we pull the curtain on pain. I have a line in my act. It's actually one of my favorite lines, and it's never gotten a laugh. I will keep telling it because it gets a few. Like one person will connect with it, maybe because they had a little more pain, just like I did. Like my dad, literally became a cult leader and abandoned us, and I was a delinquent, and I got arrested all the time. And a cop says to me, "How would you like to end up like one of these guys on the poster?" I'm going, "At least he's wanted." Whoa, they got a couple laughs,
You
but
don't understand Asians.
It also got
a lot of Asians
It also
here.
gets and I like that line because I actually felt that line when I saw the wanted guys on the posters. I said, there's their 8x10. You know what I mean? They have a career. And this is, but these are the things that, I just believe, I don't know if anybody's in therapy here. I do believe in some sort of therapy, some sort of growth spiritually, whatever it is. You keep digging and digging, because if you keep it surface level and just do what everyone else does, then you're not going to connect to them, because that's what you're really saying when you're saying you're just looking for some difference in connection, somebody that's really explored further than most people, that they went somewhere that there could be one thing that they say, right? And you're going to go, that's someone I want to get to know a little more.
Yeah, guys dare to,
Sorry. Yeah, I think that's why with more experience under your belt, you just have more to say, right? You get to know yourself more, and knowing yourself, like there's great young comics, but like the ones that like live and actually have something they've lived for, and that tragedy also comes in, that they have something to say too. Like it's great to have like a great upbringing and all that stuff, but it's hard to like make jokes about it. You know what I mean? But like when you're like mid-20s, late 20s or whatever, some shit happens, and you get to talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like talk about the stuff no one wants to talk about, because someone else out there will relate to that. Don't talk about everything everyone's talking about. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, dare to dig deep, right? Let's all 2022.
And by the way, I think that work happens that you don't have to talk about it on stage. But when you do the revealing off stage, you become a truth teller without filter. Like I'll tell you something. This is definitely will not get a laugh. But I was kidnapped by a serial pedophile when I was 13. Now people go, oh, and stuff like that, and there's no joke to it. But because I've explored that and I am way free, he's not my jailer. That freedom allows me to be a great comedian, a great artist, because there's a freedom. So you don't have to be specific about sharing your pain, but you must work on your pain off stage. Mm-hmm. The off stage is the best work. That's the best work we can do. On stage is a manifestation of the healing.
Oh, that's so well said.
When you get up there and you are healed, and I really am. I have no problem with what that guy did, and he's completely forgiven. And a number of other people that have done other things to me. I'm not a victim, I'm a person that gets to share this because I become a hero to people that are going through that. I've had people come up to me. I do a one-person show where you can talk about stuff like that, but a lot of times I haven't been able to put it into my comedy act because a lot of people will go, that's not real anyway. Because that's the problem with stand-up comedy is they're going, but a one-person show or a book or other outlets, people believe you, and then you can get a better connection with them. But it's the off stage that counts the most. I mean, that's when I got really, really good at what I do. I wish I was, in my 20s though. But you know what I mean? Because then you're the up and coming. You're the up and coming as opposed to, what'd you call me? Experience. Seasoned. That was even worse. No. OG. I said somebody backstage. I had a lot of people backstage like, hey man, I know who you are. You're OG. I never think everybody knows who I am. And this comedian, you were there that night. She goes, what does that mean? Old guy? That hurt deep. That was deep. Yeah. You see the laugh that got? That was my pain that you felt.
You don't look old. You just look seasoned.
What am I, paprika?
Yeah, you got flavor.
Like
flavor.
the super fox.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, should we move on to Stephen Ho, the Ho in the house?
Stephen.
Laughing, I'll kill myself.
Give it up for Stephen Ho. I remember the first time. And give it up for Christina and Craig. I remember the first time I saw you was with Jolie, and you were at our Comedy Store show, I think, right? And you were so quiet and shy. And then during COVID, you like blew up on TikTok and Instagram. I was like, man, he got his thing down. Like looking at you, I wouldn't know there was so many, like all that stuff you say on your stuff now. Like, yes, just kidding. Tell us all about how did you come about? Be like, okay, were you bored? Were you like, I'm a ER nurse, I gotta do something about this. I gotta tell people what to do.
No, I was working. So I've worked in the emergency room for like the last 8 years as an ER technician. And you're right, I was totally fucking bored. Because before COVID happened, I had like the outlets, right? I had a sketch show in Santa Monica that I was doing. I was doing some stand-up comedy shows here and there. And that was enough for me to not go crazy. But, when COVID happened, everything shut down, and I was like forced to work overtime at the ER because they needed it. I was, come on in. Thank God you're here. I was like, I needed something. And my friend said, hey, there's this new app called TikTok. You should get on there and start posting some stuff. But it didn't happen overnight, right? I was already trying to like blow up on social media in other ways, on Instagram, on YouTube, But like you guys said, I was trying to do what everyone else was doing, right? I was like, I was, buying sandwiches and be like, look, we're trying a new sandwich at this place in LA, right? It didn't fucking go anywhere, right? I did like some parody songs I thought were funny. But, I kept, as Will Ferrell said, just kept throwing darts at the dartboard, hoping something would work. But it wasn't until COVID happened where, everybody just wanted information about what was going on. So I just went on in like the scrubs that I would wear to work, and I just started doing tips from the ER. And I don't think it was until like the 4th video where I talked about COVID that it blew up. And then from there, I just kept doing it every day.
Was it funny?
Hmm?
And you did it in a funny way or
Yeah, I think so. I think it was both funny and informative, which is why it took off.
And that shirt you're wearing, let's show everybody. You can get that merch.
Oh yeah, this is.
Say it.
This is the motherfucker merch. For some reason, okay, so like the first video I did, it was about like, okay, you should drink more water. It was, whatever. But for some reason, the word motherfucker kind of slipped out of my mouth. And I was like, wait, like I should delete that. But then I looked at it again, like that's pretty funny. That's kind of how I would actually say it, right? It was like, be authentic.
Authentic, truth.
Right? So I just kept it there. And for every video after that, I said motherfucker every time. And it worked, right? They loved it. They were like, oh my God, who's this guy in scrubs calling everybody a motherfucker? And like the videos blew up.
So what Kiki was saying was before that, you were a little bit more timid when you were out and about. Was that correct?
Yeah, I still am.
Yeah, he's very quiet.
But it's way better now though, after everything, right? And would you attribute that to the social media? Like you putting yourself out there, you being more authentic, and then you being like, oh, people like me for being me? Did that add to that confidence, self-acceptance in a way?
I think so. I honestly like it. Like it hasn't even been a year yet since this thing blew up yet. So I'm still trying to process what's happening. But no, I mean, I'm still a pretty shy guy. I know right now it looks like I'm talking to you guys. It looks pretty casual, but like I prepped for this.
Thank you. That's why I have him on, because he's super professional. He comes super on time.
I fucking prepped
He
my
does
head
not
for
get
this.
drunk. Like.
We went to Starbucks and he wouldn't shut up the whole way there, so I don't know.
I met Jason, man, because I admire Jason. I've seen him do comedy, and I like he's someone I was like, oh my God, like one day I'd like to get to where he is, because I've seen him do shows, but this is the first time we actually met each other.
Wow.
So when I met him, he's like, I'm going to Starbucks. I'm like, can I follow you?
That's your idol right there.
So fucking
They're
ask him-
dressing like the same
So
too.
fucking ask
Yeah,
him-
he was watching
Twinning.
you. He said, oh, Jason's wearing a blazer. I'm going to do the same thing.
I went to his house last night, looked into his window, and I was like, oh, he's wearing a blazer. I gotta go get one. So I got one, and I saw him here.
So do you plan out your content? Because 11 million followers. There are people, you actually translate fans to come see you. He went on tour with us to Seattle. Every show, people are lining up after, just get his signature, take pictures. Like, how do you do that? That's like, I don't know, what am I asking? But you know what I'm asking.
No, yeah. I mean, it translated, because again, this is still very new, right? I just blew up. It hasn't even been a year yet, and everybody is dying to like just see like, who the fuck is this guy, right? So it was easy just to be like, hey, if you guys want to meet this new guy who just blew up, just come to the show, pay some money, we'll do some comedy, and I'll say hi to you, right? And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing I found out, and when I was talking to other creators too. When you blow up, you have an opportunity, like, to sell them. They'll buy anything from you to start off, right? Merch, tickets, anything. They'll buy anything from you the first time, right? And if it's good, maybe they'll keep buying it from you. But if it's not, like, you got one shot. So right now is that one shot that I have where they're coming out to like Seattle, and I have a show in Hollywood that's like selling out because I'm still new. But I'm pretty sure after like a year or two, it'll start dying down a little bit. So I'm trying to capitalize on it right now. And, you know, we're still looking for ways to do that.
Do people come to see certain bits, and they like, do they ever yell it out, like a request on something you're popular for?
No, so I've never done any of the bits on social media on stage. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
It's because they like you, right?
Yeah, no,
That's essentially it.
I think it's literally because like, oh, they're just fans.
They really are diehard fans. His fans are so nice. They're there to laugh. They're like good people. You know, they're
Yeah.
not like to judge like, is he funny? They're like really nice. They laugh. I have had some of the best experience being on your show. Like the
Yeah,
people,
that's right. You've been
they're
at the Hollywood
awesome,
comedy
you
shows,
know?
yeah.
So do you plan out your content? How do you manage it then? Because you're shooting out videos every day. How many videos a day?
Yeah, so when everything was blowing up, I was doing 3 videos a day.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah, so so that's why I left the ER eventually. When I was still working at the ER, I was doing 36 hours a week, sometimes 48, and I was able to get 1 video out every day still, right? And it was blowing up. It was doing great. But then I knew, like, dude, if I quit and I did this full time, like, this could go fucking crazy. So I quit when I had 2 million on TikTok, and like, you know, 8 months later, I had 10 million. So, but I was doing 3 videos a day every morning. I woke up, I thought of something that happened in the ER because I had like a lot of experience. I wrote out a whole monologue, filmed that, edited it, put it up, had breakfast, then I would film 2 more, and by 5 o'clock, I would go to the grocery store, buy some stuff, and then I would go on live, and I would cook something on live. So it was all day, every day.
So
for
it's all
months.
discipline. It's just like a straight up job.
Yeah,
It's not like you just winging it, right?
No.
Do you think there's like an algorithm, or is there some like to get 8 million in 10 months? How
11.
people watching, are they referring you? Are they saying, "Hey, check this out"? Like, what do you know the magic that happened? Social media.
Yeah, not specifically, but I know for sure when it was happening, it was getting shared a lot. Like a lot of my and all it takes really is like 1 or 2 videos, right? Like I was putting out content every day, but it was literally the 3 videos that got like 60 million plus views. That's when I saw the most growth. Which one was that? It was I told people to get vaccinated, and then it was being shared by like celebrities, right? And it was being shared on these meme pages. That's where you want to get to. One share on like a meme page with like 12 million followers grew my account by like 100,000 on Instagram, right? And it was just one because like there's 12 million people who will see it, and like no, those people will share it too. But yeah, it's only like 1 or 2 videos, and everything blew up. But I say that you still should be putting out consistent content, right? Because if you blow up with 1 video and they go back to your page and they see, oh, this guy actually does this, then they're more likely to follow you consistently instead of like you just being a one-off video kind of guy or girl.
Yeah, that's kind of like the rapper Russ. That's he said that he put out a ton of music, and if like okay, for instance, like some people they put out maybe 10 songs, and then somebody hears one song, likes it, checks out the artist's music, but there's not enough for them to become a fan. But if you have like a whole Rolodex, you give them an opportunity to become a fan.
Yeah.
So like by you putting out so much content, they see enough things, and they probably emotionally connect with just a couple of them that really resonates with them, or maybe you answered a specific question like health wise, and then they're like, okay, this guy, I like this guy. Like now, then they become a fan for life after that, right?
Yeah, you have to like put out. You have to be pretty consistent, and I would say like just try. And I know it sucks, right? Because like you put out a video, like especially on TikTok. TikTok is the most dangerous thing mentally, because some people will put out a video that have like 2,000 followers, and one video for some reason will blow up with millions of views, right? And the next 6 videos will get 0 views. like that mentally will like drain you, right? Because you get all this love from a million people one day, and the next 5 days, no love, right? What does that do to a person, right?
It's like stand-up comedy.
It's like stand-up comedy, yeah. One night you're killing it.
But you keep going.
And the next 5 nights you trash, you eat it, but you keep going. And that's what and that's what happens with a lot of people. I think they'll try for like a couple days, it doesn't go nowhere, they'll stop, they'll come back to it, they'll try something new. It's hard. Like I don't know what it is exactly. It's hard, but like I would say just like keep trying, keep throwing darts at the dartboard. Like I said, this wasn't my first time trying to blow up on social media. I've been trying, right?
And you're right about that because like the trophy thing, the attachment to a result and expecting that that's gonna just make everything so much better, and then you depend on that as like this temporary source of confidence and satisfaction and joy, then you're easily destroyed by the next video because that's what I went through. I had to get good with me on TikTok with these videos. Some of them doing well, like one hits 2 million, next one hits like 3,000, and I'm like, dude, am I just a fucking loser? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I would go through that, right? Yeah. So like, are you currently where you're at because you have like such a huge following? Are you good with that, or does it still affect you here and there?
It definitely still affects me, like 100%. But no, it definitely does. Cause for a guy like me, like it's skyrocketed, right? And now everything just plateaued. So, and I'm not getting like the same amount of followers every day. I'm not getting the same amount of views. Yeah, I mean, it's mentally, it's draining. But I mean, what choice?
I was actually going to get to that when I was telling you about, that my prize trophy is the horse's ass as opposed to the others. Because when you get there, then you're going, what's the next there?
Yeah.
So you have to turn over all the results of what you're doing. You have to just let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. In the moment, in the moment, in the moment. Because I've been to the mountaintop, and I've also been around people on the mountaintop. The most successful people in the world, I am going to be honest with you, are some of the most miserable people in the world. Do you know why? Because they're going, I thought that when I got here, I'd be happy. But here is here, like in The Wizard of Oz. I mean, home is where the heart is. If you keep on thinking that there's some achievement that's going to lead to some self-esteem to get revenge at the 13 girls that didn't go to the prom with me, I'm still after them. But if you think that someday that you're going to get some comeuppance on those bullies, or you go back to your family reunions or your high school reunion and everybody's going to go, oh my God, you're the greatest. It never happens. As a matter of fact, sometimes the more successful you become, you heighten the resentment of other comedians and other entertainers. You actually up the level of jealousy. Think about it. I don't like you. I met you before, and now I don't like you. I hear all these 11 million. I'm going, holy shit, how does he do that? I've got all this material, and he's talking about an operating room, for God's sakes. I'm taking notes here. I can't even believe it. 11 million. I liked you when we walked in here, but now it's tough. It's tough to like you. But
no, but like what you talk about too is it goes across the board on platforms too. So like actors, writers, directors, all creators deal with intangibles, all the time. So our industry is very much result oriented to feel fulfilled, right? Oh, I go into an audition, I don't hear anything. How do I feel about that? And it's consistent rejection and that mind game where it's like, okay, what you said is just like throw it away. You know what I mean? You did your job. Surrender. You left it all on the table. Maybe you can adjust next time, but it's like these tangibles that we always like, oh, how do I get the next thing? What you're talking about is like, no, just like really dig into like, what do I love in what I'm doing, right? And then when you do that enough, someone's going to notice. That spark, right? That's what I noticed too. And then you make that consistent. Consistency is so key. Like when you do, especially digital, when you do it on YouTube, I know there's days that sucks. Just keep doing it though. If you're writing, write every day. Those days you don't want to do it, people who stop doing it that day, you do it that day. So whatever your thing is, do it, even though the days you don't want to do it. Because again, once you get there, be like prepared for those opportunities when they come. That's my whole thing. It's like work to get there, because then once you're there, you're ready. You know what I mean? So.
Thank you.
Yeah, as obviously performers, and then Kiki, you can probably relate to this.
Yeah.
As producers,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You're always trying to make sure it's a full house, right? That the venue's packed, you know. And I think as even I guess a TikTok, what is it? Influencer? Is that what it is? You're always trying to get more followers, more content, right? And then like you're saying, Craig, right? Another Emmy. Is 2 enough? No, you want 3, you want 4, right? I don't know, as a agent or a manager, you want many quality
Superstars.
clients, or
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
it really depends. Like, I'm into happy clients.
yeah.
Mm.
I think
Not all of them are happy. But they're always, yeah, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. No, for the most part, they're really happy. You know what I mean? Because you reminded them, hey, they feel like they're not progressing. They're like, no, I've seen your benchmarks. I know you, whatever those things that you see, I actually see what's happening. Right? I take a step back because you're so into yourself.
right.
What you're doing. That's the bigger picture, and a lot of people don't necessarily focus on those things. The progress that I love.
And I still feel that way. I like my issue right now. I wake up every morning.
Use
I
the
check-
mic. 'Cause, yeah.
I check all my socials and I just refresh to see if the numbers go up. It's so dangerous. It's so bad.
It's such a habit.
Every,
You're
every
addicted
morning,
to
every
that
morning
too.
I wake up. It's TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, and I'm just refreshing. And I'm checking, and like I do it right before I go to bed too, right? Like I tell myself, just put the phone outside of your room. Get rid of it, man.
Yeah.
Film the videos, put it up there, and just throw the phone away and go and like do life. Like you know, like you guys
Yeah.
were saying, you gotta like make sure like you know who you are. Make sure you got like a good life, a solid foundation, people you love, people you can call when like your car breaks down on the road. Like those are the type of people you need in your life. Cause like when you
Yeah.
get here, oh my God, man. Like luckily I have some of those people, but like it gets, like you said, it gets lonely, right? It gets lonely. Cause then up here and you know, so, and then you come to people with some of your problems and it's hard for them to like try to like grasp it. You know, like I'm telling you guys, like I'm unhappy with 11 million followers. Like like no one cares. Like you have 11 million followers. Shut the fuck up, right?
Do you know one of the reasons is people assume that you are happy because you have all those and they think that you're unapproachable. That's why you become lonely, is because you now lose people that would normally approach you or feel good about talking to you. But a lot of them, if I do get to know them, will say, yeah, I was afraid of you at first. Or, you know what I mean? I don't want that. But that they make that assumption because you have these accolades or you've got these 11 million followers. You know, I'm busy actually finding out who has more than me, so I refresh and follow them, and then they're and now I can't wait to follow you. I'm going to do it right away.
Yeah.
I want to see how many more you get just today sitting here while we're live streaming. People are looking you up. Nobody's looking me up.
Just now? Yeah.
Oh, you didn't follow me? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that's why
You have a huge following. Yeah, don't you? No, not at all. I mean, nobody has a huge following compared to Stephen Ho here. So
That's right. Recognize.
recognize.
I'll tell you how bad it
The
is.
Hoa TikTok, is that your?
I'll tell you how bad it is. I know exactly how many I have on Instagram. That's very sad. 18,323 as of walking in here.
Who's counting? Who's counting?
Everybody knows exactly how much they have on Instagram.
Oh, you do too with your 11 million?
I'm pretty sure.
More numbers to
They don't have the single numbers. It just says 11 million.
I know.
No change.
Well, you know, I check the Eventbrite. I refresh. Come on,
Yes,
tickets.
yes,
Come on, tickets. Push the tickets. Like I have to learn to like just let go. She's looking at me like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even with auditioning, I would keep getting these roles and bam, bam, and I'm like, I hate doing this now. I don't even want to audition. And then I took a class, and I'm like, I found my love for acting again. Like how it all started was acting, and then I became a stand-up. You know, I became a theater person. I did my solo show, and then I kind of got so jaded. It's like all the rejection, and then I realized I really do love acting. So I took a class, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this fun for myself. Every time I go on stage, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna make it fun for me. I'm gonna just tell and then my mind relaxes, and then I can just play with the audience. Every time when I'm trying to do verbatim, like, oh, I gotta hit these jokes, these marks, that's when I fuck up, and I'm just like, shit, I forget, because you're not in the moment. You're like trying so hard to be something and make people laugh. So now, like at the Funny Bone, like usually I'll freak out. It's a huge venue, first time in Albany. Never done like Albany. Like, thanks for taking me, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I took a nap. I'm gonna chill. I don't care. And I'm like, I'm gonna wear my glitter outfit. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be confident. That's what I was going through my mind before I went out. And then I did well.
did.
You came up, you're like,
Those white people loved you.
oh yeah. And it's because I believe it's because my energy that I brought.
Yeah.
Because you were good with you in that moment.
Yes, and
they could feel that.
Talking about distilling that and being consistent in that and trying to keep going, and even with the producing, like even this festival, I just did the New York Comedy Festival. I mean, without help of the comedians that were on the show, I couldn't have done it. But also, the whole team here, the Ryan, Sizzle, Franklin, you guys helping, and my mind, after doing this for 5 years, like we've been doing a lot of festivals, virtual ones during the pandemic. It's just me relaxing. Like, don't worry all the details. Don't freak out. Freaked out a little bit earlier, but try not to freak out. It's just like letting it go, surrendering, like you said, right?
Yeah. Present.
Yeah.
Trying to find the silver lining in it.
Yeah.
It's not all.
And I made up my mind. I'm gonna have fun. If I'm in my 40s, I'm gonna have fun. I don't care. Like the big picture, great. If we fill it up, if we don't, right? The matter is the comedians get to perform. You guys get to leave a part of your soul on the stage this weekend. You get to grow. Like that is got to be enough for me to do this, right? Because it's so much work, right? Like,
oh yeah,
right? How much money can we make from producing a show? 200, we're not doing stadiums. How much money really? No, it's more. It's got to be more than that.
Right.
Like our vision, you guys being your comedian producer, your talent management, it's all about something. We gotta have a vision, right? People like something deeper, so passionate that nothing can stop you from like keep going, right? Like with the videos, yeah, you want to be famous, but then it's not gonna keep you going, right? It's not gonna make you the day when you have no one watching you. Like, why are you doing it? For you, right? Because you do love it, Steven. You're a good actor. I know you love that sketch. You love creating. That's why you keep. That's why you don't stop, huh? I can see that spark in you.
Yeah,
and you've tapped into that. And that's why you're successful too. No, that's why I book you on your stuff. And be super professional. That's why I book you on my shows, because he's super professional. He comes on time. He does not get drunk. I hate it when you get drunk, get high. Don't. I don't want you. I don't know, Craig. How do you feel? Like when people get too drunk high, I'm just like, really, you're not respecting the time, the space.
It's funny you should say there's a veteran comedian, I will not say his name, and I hired him because I hire comedians a lot. I book country clubs and people trust me, and a lot of times people ask for me and I'll say I'm too expensive, and I say I'll hook you up with someone. I do it all the time. I produce at the Canyon Club. I want to have you guys there. But this guy, I'll never forget it. He did a country club and he was very disrespectful of this booking. I said, you got to be, somewhat clean. So first of all, listen to that. Whatever, if they give you that instruction, you can't just go on your own and say, fuck them. You got to say, okay, I have to honor, I have to have integrity. And he walked up with a beer like this. He's got the beer the whole time like this. It was like so 80s. He's got the thing hanging like this, In 20 minutes, do you really have to have a beer? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to have? It was like and he was rambling, and he was not professional. And another guy too. He did a Zoom call. Another old professional. I thought he was an old pro, and he goes, "I don't have an act." I was on the sidelines. He was zooming I go, "Do your act." He goes, "I don't have an act." He was drunk, and I will never hire either one of them again. Yep. So you have to show up in a professional manner and have some respect for who's ever hiring you. It's their money, and you've got to respect their money. You can't just assume that they're going to be okay with what you're doing. And I've been guilty of it as well, but never drunk anymore. I used to many years ago, and I stopped. And I book things, and I will tell you, if somebody shows up like that, you're done for life.
Yeah, in my mind.
You're done for life, because there's thousands of other comedians to choose from.
Right, yep.
So why not take it up to the highest level you can be and be professional? And the other thing I was going to say is, If two people are in the audience, have the respect and give them the exact show. I'll give them 90 minutes and never let up. 90 minutes, and I've done it for two people. And I've also been in front of 75,000 people, same show. The same amount of respect. I will give absolute passion, because what you were saying is, what I would ask a question of everybody is, what's your vision? What is your vision? Like, ask everybody, what's their vision? And if you can be ingrained in what your vision is, it's going to really propel you forward. To really have an idea of what your vision is. Because if the vision is some outside thing, a reward or an award, I'm going to tell you, change the vision. Because it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be right. And it's always going to have to be, predicated about someone else's opinion of you. And that's never going to work. What's your opinion of yourself? What do you visualize for yourself? And that's what I would ask everybody.
Yeah, so it's all about the intrinsic value versus the extrinsic. And then I feel like we try to quantify joy and success. And then when you quantify that, that leads to that misery and everything, right? Like, and Jason, so when you've been producing shows for a while now, and then how did you continue to do it up to this point with all the ups and downs? Because I've produced shows before too, and it's very stressful, man. It's tough to deal with,
Yeah, it's very stressful. Now coming back from COVID, it's like I'm not starting over again, but kind of it's like everything's changed slightly. So, but with producing, I gotta say, I think the X factor, right, is you gotta reach that person out there in whatever city, state, country. And I think the key is, to me, what I've learned is an email. You got to collect that data. You got to get that email. So over the years that I've been producing, I have about 20,000 emails from across the country, and I've categorized them from each venue or state, so I know who's where, which person is okay, I'm doing a show in Philly, so now I've got a list that's just strictly for Philadelphia. So I reach out to those people. Albany, same thing.
So what if they don't let you run the tickets? How do you get their emails?
So we did old school. We had email cards on the table, a little golf pencil. We do a giveaway, a T-shirt, or if you want to hear about us, future upcoming shows, fill this out. But a gimmick of some sort that really grabs people. People like free stuff.
Emails are important for that too. But for me, like I have email subscribers too, like 10,000, right? And so whenever I have like new merch or like I have a show, I blast that email, and that also gets people in seats.
Yeah, I think, because think about it, with email, right? When you sign up for anything, what do they ask for? It's connected to an email. Cell phone number too, but people, I think that's optional at times, but the email is the thing, right? Instagram, email's connected, right? Facebook, email. I don't know about TikTok. Is it email?
Yeah, email. I think they usually something like that.
You don't have to log in. You just open it and it's there.
But initially to sign up, probably an email account, right? Yeah.
It was one of those things where like connect your Facebook.
Yeah, I was told that. I don't remember who told me, but I think it was in sales because I have my real estate license. I practiced real estate before, so it was always getting that email and just blasting out, "Hey, I sold a house here," because you want to be in front of the person. It says it takes, I think, in sales like 5 times before someone registers. Oh yeah, okay, this person's selling a home in my area.
So what's the etiquette to being on your show, getting on your show, and keep getting booked on your shows? You have few shows. You have a show at Laugh Factory. You have a show at Improv. Comedy Store La Jolla.
Yeah, every other month there. Philadelphia just gave us every other month. Now that we're back, actually, that was my first show in Albany since COVID because
that was an amazing show.
It's so weird. It's just clubs are like, I think what's going on is everyone's still kind of opening up, right? We're still getting back to normal, and people are slowly coming out, and they want to come out, they want to see something. So, and I noticed like large venues, those big tours are just starting to happen. I still see, it's not happening till 2022. So these bigger name comics still want a place to perform. Well, I'm going back to the club, and Craig, you probably know and see it. So now I got to do the weekend. So it gives less stage time for us that are in like that middle range or lower range coming up. So it's tough. But slowly getting back. Before COVID, I was in 20, 25 clubs. across the country with my show. It's called American Me Comedy.
So how does one get on your show and stay on?
I think connection, you know, it's like I'm in recovery. I've been sober now 6.5 years. And I mean, thanks. Like Craig was talking about and everyone else, as comedians, I think you only kind of see the tip of the iceberg, right? But there's so much of who we are. And I've got a similar story with Craig. You know, I'm adopted. I've got a history of drug and alcohol abuse. You know, I went to prison. Wasn't your typical Asian. You know, I grew up in a very white part of the country, New Hampshire. So, you know, experienced Asian hate before Asian hate was ever a thing. You know, racism. And so for me, it's about like-minded people. You know, I think I've been around the block many times, so I've learned. And someone told me this: you got to meet a lot of people in life that want to work with you, but it's really figuring out those few people that you want to work with. You know, connect, and that's connection. You know, right?
You can't fake it. You can't fake that. That's what I talked about earlier in comedy is truth.
Right.
You can't fake truth.
Right.
And the more experience you have, more seasoned you become, the easier it is to discern what truth is.
Right.
You know, it's not speculative. It's there. It's something. It's divine. It's ethereal. It's just there. And the more we become real, authentic, organic, and work on self, like what happens when you get clean and sober too, is you got to really work on yourself and unpeel some shit.
Yeah.
And once you start unpeeling that and revealing and things like that, then you become a much better performer as well.
Yes.
And that's the work that it takes. I can't emphasize enough is what therapy, spirituality, whatever it is, whatever route you take, that's when everything's going to get really good. You know, I didn't become really good until those things happened, until that manager turned to me and he goes, you know, the point of view. That was the moment. My ha-ha moment where I said, I am only going to tell stories that I can tell. You know, I used to do impressions and jokes that were like derivative or stolen or hack. No, done. Every single thing that comes out of me is from me. And at that moment, there becomes a sense of pride and a sense of self and a sense of ease and comfort and resonance and mindfulness. That's what all the results are of that. And that's who you bring to every single situation, no matter what it is, you know. By the way, you got a booking for me. You guys, I booked the Canyon Club in Agora, so I'll book you,
nice.
book you. By the way, my partner is Asian. My partner, Michelle Malazaki is my partner.
Oh, she's on the festival.
Oh, geez, I can't judge her. That would be terrible. She's opening for me. She opens for me a bunch. I have different openers, and
nice.
But okay. Well, who says you're going to? Okay, that's a lot of confidence. Okay, but yeah, I'd love to have you all on that show because I believe in comedy and laughter. I have an organization, by the way, called Laughter Heals. It's an organization I started years ago. My best friend got brain cancer, and they gave him 3 months to live. And I went, whoa, man, what can I do for him? And that was my big moment in life where I went, this is not about me anymore. You know, this is not me getting a waitress's phone number or my mom's attention and love. This became real fast. And he wrote Cool Runnings, Little Giants. He's a comedy guy like me. Cool, right, nice. We bonded through comedy and love and laughter and our children. And his daughter was 1.5 years old, and they gave him 3 months to live. And so I started these laughter programs. I'm telling you, laughter is an energy that cannot be beaten. You cannot beat the energy. You can't be depressed while you're laughing. You can't have anxiety. While you're laughing, they can't exist in the same space. They cannot exist. So I do guided laughitation. And he showed up at every one of them, and he took all the prescriptions, including going to more comedy shows, boning up on more comedy, be around comedy. Comedians live a long time. They do. Milton Berle and Shecky Green, and they live a long. Unless you do get in drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not, but George Burns was doing it till he was 100. Don Rickles, they live a long time because they're around. The energy is so key of laughter. He showed up for all. He lived 15 years past that 3-month prognosis.
Wow.
15 years, not 15 days. And I visited him in hospice a few years ago. And it was the end. You could tell he was staring, and he was in a coma. And I said, his name, Michael Goldberg, I said, Golds, what else can I do? Because we really did. We kept him going and going and laughing and joy and sharing creativity. We created together, even though he was sick. And I said, what can I do for you? He just stared. I said, do you even know it's me? I said, you want me to jerk you off? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I said, that's what I said.
Dressed as a geisha. Dressed as a geisha.
Yeah, I could put the little things that. I said, how about I'll give you a handy? And he came out of a coma and he goes, ah. He laughed. I made him laugh on his deathbed, and he died 2 days later, but I made him laugh at the end. And I was very, very proud of that, that I was able to offer that energy to one of my best friends, you know, and that's what we did together. And why not die laughing? So that's the other thing. I did do that. I didn't make him. It was only me on him, but. I mean, when you think about it, this is something this is the thing I don't like about comedians, by the way, is very cynical, and which is very sarcastic, which is removal of tearing of flesh. I do believe we should all be together in this. We should be together, especially now more than ever. We have a mission here, and I really believe that laughter does heal, and we should bring this healing gift. You're talking about an ER. We are also workers, or essential workers. When you think about it, we are bringing medicine to people, and that energy should be out there, and we shouldn't be cynical about it. We should own that we have a gift. We have a gift to share. Don't be selfish and share your gift.
Oh, yes. Jason.
Yeah.
You have any last words before we move on to Manny, and then we're going to start the opening night reception?
I think if you're a new comedian, it's tough right now. I think if you guys can agree, stage time is tough to get right now, right? So that's one reason why I created this show is I just wanted my own stage time and build my own stage. I know as comedians, but really because to get better, you got to go out and perform. And sometimes like shitty bar shows, or no one's there, or people are loud. It's hard to get up, keep going up and performing. So that's one reason why I created it. So as a new comedian, if you've got the time, go out there and build your own stage. And life, right, is your stage. So that's why I did it.
Awesome. All right. Manny.
Oh, it's my turn.
Can you tell us a little bit about you?
A little bit about me. Okay, so I was born in Japan. I'm Filipino. My dad was in the Navy, and that's why I was born in Japan, because we were stationed in Japan. I moved to Florida, so I was raised in Jacksonville, Florida, where it's really bad. Yes, lots of Asian hate. But I hung out with the southern country folks, the dirty South folks. So, we drank beer in the back of the pickup trucks at my senior year of high school. That's what I did. We picked up frogs and tadpoles in the woods. Pretty funny, huh? Yeah, with our own hands. Out here, it's like weird. It's dirty. And then I came out here to be an actor, and then I fell in radio. So I was in radio for over 20 years. With the Ryan Seacrest show. They called me Manny on the Streets.
Yeah.
And it was with Kiss FM. Oh, now you know.
Oh, now you know who he is, huh?
I was the guy that gave away free gas and free money and free prizes on the streets. I was the correspondent for Ryan Seacrest on the red carpet, interviewing all the celebrities and whatnot. Let me see what else. So then I got laid off, which sucked. Right before COVID, and then everybody else got laid off during COVID. So I said, "Ha ha!" I'm kidding. That's not what happened. And then I went to Vegas and became a director of marketing and events for 3 radio stations out there. Then I came back and worked for Apple Music Radio, and then iHeart came calling back to me. So I'm back at iHeart, managing 300 personalities all across the nation.
Oh, wow.
So.
For marketing?
Yeah, for marketing. But I'm still acting. And so this goes back full circle to you.
Yes.
Is because one of my friends, Eric Esteban.
Yes, he's going to be on the show.
Miscellaneous Brown. Don't know why he changed his name. I was like, Miscellaneous? Eric? What do I call you? It's funny because I met Eric at an audition. We booked this TurboTax commercial. And the guy, we booked it, we came in for our fitting, and the producers were in the table, And the guy goes, "Hey, Eric, come here." I said, "My name's Manny." And they go, "Did we hire the wrong guy?" They're like, "No, this is Manny." They gave the headshot to the other producers. And Eric comes walking in full dress attire. And we're looking at each other like, did they hire the wrong guy or just one of us?
Oh, wow.
So fast forward, we both got hired on the same commercial. And it's on YouTube somewhere. It's the TurboTax commercial.
That's hilarious.
So that's how I know Eric for like the last 15 years. And then I followed him on Instagram and saw that Crazy Woke Asians. And I was like, how come I'm not involved?
Yeah, you reached out.
I
was
reached
like,
out. I
he's
said, Kiki, I
cool.
want to host something.
I know.
So
He's hosting the
here
final
I am.
showdown. So
Yeah.
he's going to make it super fun.
Oh, boy. I hope I don't sweat. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm still acting. Actually, I had an audition today for The Neighborhood on CBS. So we'll see.
Fun show.
Who knows? Yeah. But I wanted to say, being consistent in promoting yourself and acting and working, it definitely reaches other people. And being real reaches other people. Because, I saw Eric. I've been following Eric's hard work and Eric's comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, Crazy Woke Asians, I need to be a part of this movement. This is a movement. And we're finally here. We're finally getting noticed, even as hosts, actors, comedians, producers.
Yeah.
The time is now, so I wanted to be a part of it, and I didn't want to miss out on the boat.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
Nice.
So with marketing, are there any wisdom you can share? Because you know marketing. So for comedians want to market and brand themselves, do you have any?
No, it goes back to being consistent and being real.
But like the steps, yes, you could be consistent and real, but I feel like you need to have some I write to-do lists, like bam, 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 this is all the stuff. Send the press release, set the date or do a networking event, like all the little steps that.
All the little steps count. All the little steps. Right now it's all social media. It's Facebook. It's the Eventbrite. It's the telling everybody else to help share. It's all of that. It goes to even being on radio promoting an artist or a concert, right? Jingle Ball or Wango Tango will never be promoted if they don't ever talk about it. So, or pushing it on social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, which are the biggest,
And
platforms.
you work with big brands, right? Do you guys work with like corporate brands?
Yeah. Del Taco, Carl's. You name it. All the brands are there. Cars. Tons of cars.
So that's like when the comedians make it big. Like, did you have brand deals too? So how?
I still do.
Which one?
I'm actually wearing some right now.
Well, plug it away.
That
Greg.
shit's free. This shit's free. This shit's free. We love free is me, baby.
Deals, like,
Well,
prepare them for the future. You guys all superstars.
yeah, all my clothes are free. It's awesome. Yeah, I just got a big box the other day. And when you grow up poor, this shit's meaningful. It's better than money. But when I had that box the other day, I was just opening up and just trying things on. And I just called this guy, Alma Mater Shoes. I called him. I said, I'm doing a TV show. So he said, I'll send you 2 more pair. And they're handmade, beautiful shoes and this Taylor Bird stuff. Oh, we'll hook you up. And as long as you're on television and that's what I'm sure you're the same way, right? I mean, all you got to do is make a call to some of these companies, and that's what you do as well, is you connect them with these corporations, and these people have big money, and they will spend it on you, to promote.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like digital is great for branding. It's like probably the cheapest branding they can do on social media. It's like
free.
Well, yeah, 100%. Most of it's free, and then once you build that relationship, they're like, oh, they keep, hey, we'll send you this, send us the bill for whatever that thing was, and then we'll pay you whatever. Right. But having that standard of what you want each time and build on top of that. But yeah, once you get to a certain place in your career, they just send you a bunch of free shit. Honestly. Yeah. Like, you don't need it, but they'll send it to you. And then everybody around you and your team.
Wristwatch, too. Does anybody know what a wristwatch is? Does anybody here know what a watch is? Yeah. It's called a watch. Yeah.
Until it's time?
It's called Reactor. Yeah. They're another sponsor. Yeah, it's awesome.
But, like, look, I've worked with, like, Oscar winners, and you just get tons and tons of stuff. You know what I mean? The last one I worked with was Mahershala Ali, and he's just like, he's amazing, by the way. So handsome. Great person, too. So talented. Can we just edit that out? Yeah. My filter went on. Amazing person, though. He also, like, leads the way he wants to be led on, like, sets and creatively. So, like, that's, like, goes back to what we were talking about, not being super, like, drunk and high. You know what I mean? Lead how you want to be led. But, yeah, you can 100% use your social media, your platforms to garner branding deals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It used to be a thing back in the day where like US talent never did branding deals. You know what I mean? Now what's happening now in the high level stuff is they're very picky on who they work with. You know, like you get to a point where they just loan you cars for 2 years. No, it's true though. Like you're like, okay, I want, they're like, hey, so Porsches, oh, Mercedes, what do I want? Like you get loaned for 2 years or a year. And you're just like, okay, that's the life once you get to that.
I got in a Rolls Royce once, and it said, I was putting my iPhone, and it said Tom Brady's iPhone. That was the one before me. Yeah, I was going, this is cool. And I couldn't believe how people treat you when you drive a car like that. There was a Wraith. I couldn't believe it. People are into shit. They're into stuff and shiny stuff. Look at the Kardashians. That's how they made it. I mean, it's all about the shine. But also look at the sadness. I've been friends with Bruce Jenner for years, and now Caitlyn Jenner. Mm-hmm. But if anything, I would say when I saw Caitlyn being interviewed for the first time, I said, oh, always uncomfortable in his skin. He was always uncomfortable in his skin. I'm not sharing that to be, I would say that to Caitlyn. Yeah, what's that? As Bruce, he was uncomfortable in his own skin. I always thought that. And I didn't realize what it was. I didn't go that deep with him at the time, but being uncomfortable and thinking that the Wheaties box and the winning the Olympics, and I saw the documentary. I was so beautiful to see finally this admission of a person that didn't know who they were, and how sad that is, and all this stuff. I remember him telling me about the Kardashians, about how many followers they had, and all this kind of stuff. We were on the golf course, and I was going. He said, oh, it's unbelievable. They pick up a phone and they can make all this money and da-da-da. And there was such a sadness to it. And they treated him on that show like a beeper from the 80s. That's how they treated him. And it was because his self-esteem was not there, because he wasn't who he was. So it's a great example of that. They have everything. They have everything when you think about it. All the money in the world, all the fame, and yet where is the reality of life? Where is, like I said, what's your vision? What do you visualize? Right?
100%.
You gonna manage me now?
I'll talk after. Who wants a Porsche? Look under your chairs. You all have a Porsche. Everyone gets a Porsche. Everyone got a fucking Porsche. Everyone's got one. There you go. No, but like, there's one thing I do want to like when you do start doing branding deals for yourselves. Like, just be aware of how long it's up. Like, work that into your deals. Like, you don't want it up for forever. You know what I mean? You can work it to where, like, oh, they want 5 posts on whatever platform. You could work it into a story, 2 stories in 1 post. Like, don't, like, put a limit on it and reduce it if that's, like, the type of, like, creator you want to be. Because they'll leave it up forever and just make money off of it forever. You know what I mean?
Do you ever pair people up?
Like, for dating?
No. No. Do you ever pair people up with like somebody that's more on the back end, like somebody who's like an editor, a writer, but they're not really a performer, and they work with a performer? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just know when creators or spirits align, right? Sometimes you'll read a script, and it'll be like by a white writer, usually white man. And it sounds very white, and then you attach someone who's not white, but the voice is still there, and they collaborate, but they understand each other, and you're like, oh, okay, we know that they'll get along and get this to an elevated place. Yeah. Or I know this writer, I know this director, let's get them together. I know this writer is working on something, and this director wants to do something soon, let's pair them up together. Or, however that means. You know what I mean? I love connecting people in general. I love lifting people, and that's just like the corny thing to do. But it's like looked down on in this industry. It's like, oh, no, you have to be one of those cutthroat people. I'm like, I'm just too lazy to do that. But no, it's like it is what we do. What we do is we want to connect. That's comedy. It's content. It's this, right? That's the reason why I do the things that I want to do, is because I love connecting on so many levels. I love watching something that my friends have created, my colleagues have created, and someone across the country, across the world connects with in that capacity. You know, when I was a kid, that's what I loved about films. You know what I mean? We can just talk. We can all go into a movie theater, not know each other, and we have this common thread. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with comedy. It's like I can watch your TikTok and send it to a bunch of friends, and it's like so easy. That's why TikTok is so brilliant at the same time. Why it gets so many views. It's because it's hard, but it's so easy to get out there. Like it's a creator's paradise right now.
And it's
honestly.
short.
And it's short. That's why it's so short.
We have ADD.
Yeah, correct. Short
crazy.
content is amazing right now.
Yeah.
That's rough on a storyteller.
And I'll
Really
say,
is.
like, if for TikTok, it's great, like she said, but it's also changed the game entirely for social media, right? As soon as TikTok came out with the short form content, and I was talking to Mike about this last week, Instagram came up with Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, right? Snapchat even. There's a Snapchat Spotlight now, just the same exact format as TikTok. And I took my videos on TikTok and I just reposted them across all 4 social medias, and it blew up. So like you guys, you really need to try to get in on this short form content. Like it's blowing up, and they're paying a lot of money for it. Like I have a friend on YouTube that YouTube reached out to him and was like, hey, if you do 80 YouTube shorts in the next 6 months exclusively for YouTube and no one else, we'll give you $50,000. Because they want it. They're competing. They're all competing right now for the short form content.
I was just gonna. So, you don't just have to know how to dance. Is that what? No, not that. All right. There you go, Craig. You're.
Also, like, make sure you monetize if you're on YouTube. Like, if you end up doing like a special for yourselves, and you're trying to just like get yourself out there, make sure you monetize your platforms. You know, I think it happened to Shane Gillis recently. He had 2 million off his recent one. He didn't monetize. So just like be smart about your money and your time, right? So just make sure you do that.
So when you say short form, I thought Snapchat was like real quick. Like what's a standard TikTok time frame?
Again, so they're all coming up with a way to like show short form content. So Snapchat used to be like you send a message, it goes away, right? Now there's something called Snapchat Spotlight. And if you go on Snapchat, it looks exactly like TikTok. And now you can have like a public profile that looks just like TikTok. You have your spotlights, all the videos are there. The format looks just like TikTok.
How long are the TikTok videos?
Most of the short ones are no more than a minute, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gotta be the minute.
Do
So
Do
you
they disappear or they stay?
No, none of
they
none of them
stay, and your
disappear.
brain is just kind of like you know what to do now because you've been doing. It's
Yeah,
kind of
so-
the
so-
joke, how to hit it, how to format it.
So it's a little easier. But again, like if you make one short, post it everywhere. That's what I did, and everything blew up. And it's the same video. And the most surprising thing I found was that the communities on all these social media platforms are all different. I had a bunch of people on TikTok that I was putting videos out, and someone was like, put it on YouTube. And I put them all on YouTube, and these people are seeing it for the first time.
Oh wow!
They're all seeing it for the first time. I did it on Instagram, all seeing it for the first time. Put it on Facebook, they're all seeing it for the first time. None. You think it's gonna get stale if you post it everywhere? It's not. Everybody, because these social medias, I believe it comes with generations, right? Everybody's on a different one. So if you get a short out there, just post it everywhere.
So if it's vertical, how do you post it on YouTube? Because it's not the horizontal format.
That's
Does
the thing.
It matter?
So now YouTube Shorts, the
Oh.
same format.
Oh,
If you hold it
wow.
on your phone, it looks just like TikTok. YouTube
wow.
Shorts.
I'm gonna
There's
do
a
that.
feature you can click YouTube Shorts, and they'll start showing it just like TikTok. TikTok completely changed the game.
So,
Everybody's trying to keep
How
up with
about
TikTok.
what you were talking about, Christina? Like protect, monetize your content. What do you think about producers that I've seen some people taping 15-minute specials and then they put it on the producer's platform. They own 50% of your stuff. What do you think? Is that a good deal, or they give you a few $100 then you have 15 minutes of yours, but it's on their platform. It's not on your platform, and they are monetizing, but
I mean, it depends on the platform, right?
it's on YouTube.
Well,
type
I
of-
mean, like what channel? Like if that channel is like hitting,
Oh.
absolutely. But if you know that you've got more subscribers, put on yours. Put it on
makes
both.
sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can put it in writing in your contract to where you post it on both, you'll monetize on two sides. Like, how can you make more money? That's how my mind also works. So, but yeah, I mean, it really depends on the situation, honestly. I'm all about what happens down the line, you know. So some stuff that you've posted, probably the older stuff, is still garnering revenue, right? Because you're adding new people, old people. It just gets recycled through. And so if you have that in your own, keep that. You're just gonna keep getting new money through those.
Right now, I'm in the process of moving everything onto Snapchat.
Oh.
And it's happening. Like, the views are up. I'm getting followers. And Snapchat's paying now too.
Like, what's the demographic? The younger?
Yeah,
The-
they're fucking babies on Snapchat.
Oh.
Fucking yeah.
I'm just getting MySpace down. This is unbelievable. I cannot keep track of this.
No more
shit.
MySpace.
This is terrible. I know no more. That was a joke. But I'm telling you, it is so hard to keep up with this.
No, it is.
My mind
it
is
absolutely
spinning.
is.
Well, my question to you is this, and I'm a storyteller. I compare it to if you're a marathoner and you're a sprinter, you could be a gold medalist at both, but you can't do the other. If you're a marathoner, you cannot sprint. You can sprint really well, but you'll never be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a marathoner, do 90-minute shows. I do 90-minute stand-up shows, and it's a storytelling show. What do you do about that on TikTok? I mean, it's just not, there's no format now, am I right?
I mean,
for a marathoner.
well, I would argue that like some of my tips from the ER videos is a story. It's a monologue. It's just a monologue that teaches you a little something. I try to have a beginning, middle, end, and it's
1 minute though?
yeah, it's like
1
55
minute.
seconds. 55 seconds.
5 seconds, you can tell us, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Okay.
probably not like, I mean, again, like you have to adapt. It's not like a movie, right? But like if you want this to work, you know, you
You're
adapt.
serializing it, so they look at the next one, Or
Yeah.
are you doing? Or do they know that there's another one coming? No.
They're all separate. I don't
All
connect
set-
any
wow.
of them.
But you can connect it. You can do part one, part two.
Yeah.
Because that's what worked for me
You can.
as well. Like
Yes.
I've done that. And now actually, TikTok, well, it's been like, I think a few months now, but you can do up to 3-minute videos. So
Yeah.
that really made a difference as well. You know, so people,
Yeah.
you can do a bit of the longer form type of story that you want to tell, which compared to 90 minutes is not long, but from 1 minute to 3 minutes is an absolute like game changer in terms of the length of it all, you know?
Yeah, and you should watch some of these 1-minute videos. There's actually like there's not like it's not a great story, but it's a decent story. You'd be surprised. Like if you try hard enough, you could tell a decent story in 1 minute, right?
Yeah, but I love all your podcast interviews. Like we did one together, and that blew up on my TikTok. Like people are still commenting. It just boggles my mind. I didn't do any. I only have a couple thousand followers, but I never did anything. But I think because of that video, I got that.
Because of the clip, right?
Yeah,
You know,
that I
choosing-
call people. Yeah, you're fat. Shut the fuck up. That clip.
Like, she's not saying it to me. She just said it in general. Like, yeah.
Like skinny girls that come up to me. I'm so fat. I'm like, yes, you're fat. Shut the fuck
Because
up.
the reason why I hit too was because I chose that clip. I edited that clip because that's you. That's a strong opinion, and you're not lying. So the common theme, even with, even with men, he's like being real. You know, and yeah, some people get mad, but even underneath that, the anger is just like, no, but yeah, we all kind of understand. We all understand in our own way, like what she means. You know,
Or not.
regardless of the reaction,
Yeah.
or not. Well, yeah, but that's you, and then
Yeah.
that's polarizing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you can also do like rebuttal videos, right, on TikTok. That's what gets the conversation going, right? Like if you get a crazy comment, you post that comment,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what do you call those?
I have no
Response videos.
Response.
idea. Yeah, you could just take that comment, make it a little bubble, and just talk about that comment.
Yeah.
It's like a response.
So we gotta wrap it up because we got the opening night. People are coming in. Manny, you got any last words? We're gonna see a final showdown.
Yeah, I'm excited for Sunday. But
6:30.
6:30 until when? Midnight?
No, until 8:30, and then we have the award show after that. So
Gotcha.
Craig and Nyla and I, we're gonna be judging all of you.
Some of
them in it?
Yes, a lot
Awesome.
of them. So every night the audience get to vote. So you guys, thanks for watching on YouTube. You
Yeah.
can follow us at Crazy Vocations. Get the festival pass. All the tickets come with a glass of, not glass, some kind of beverage. Okay, it's a great deal. Support the Asians. Okay, like him, like Craig here. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Stephen, Jason, Manny. Thank you, Mike. You guys can follow them. What's your handle?
I have cards.
Oh, but for the people on the YouTube.
Old school cards.
Old
YouTube?
school.
Official Craig Shoemaker. That's Shoemaker, not Schumacher. You make shoes, you don't mock shoes. Unless they're Crocs.
Okay, Christina, tell everybody your handle so people can follow.
Christina Montojo. It's my first and last name. In one
Steven?
Christina, how do you spell that?
Hurry up, we gotta go.
STEVEIOE. Stevio.
Jason?
Across all platforms.
Jason Rogers, Rogers with no D, AMC. Jason Rogers, AMC for American Me Comedy.
Kiki Funny Mama, Crazy Woke Asians.
Mike Kim Comedy, MIKKIM Comedy.
And Manny Streets with a Z at the end. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, thank you so much. We'll see you guys all weekend. We'll be here. Great, thank you. We're gonna take a photo. Let's take a group photo really quick.